Oh yeah, kabisa.
Yes, Tony, Mark has just told us, vile kitambo, you will, even with our parents, growing up, this is something that we saw. Ulikuwa naambiwa hadi ukuta ziko na masikio. Like you could never question the government of the day. Seeing the young people right now calling out to the government, saying these are the things that we want. Given an opportunity, what would you say from your experience being there? What would you tell them to do differently from what they're doing right now?
Of course, what they're doing differently now, me I feel like they already, they're actually the ones supposed to tell us, because I feel like they studied us a long time. They saw what we're not doing. They saw where the loopholes are, and actually it is us actually to learn from them. I don't think hata tunaweza waambia mmefanya hivi vibaya. Of course, they must always remember that even the town halls that are called, now we want them, you see the way they are very interactive, of course, on social media and whatever, which is a very good space, even for public participation. But even those halls are important. And that conversation is not only supposed to be at the national, even the 47 counties have a finance bill, all of them. Sasa pia hiyo wakwe very alert wasiache ipite, because that conversation may be for the national, za chini pia zipitishwe. That is okay.
Nimesikia kabisa.
And I hope our viewers, nikisema watu wakuja na kalamu na karatasi, this is what I meant.
Leo ni mani, leo tunasoma vizuri, si ndio? Now, in this next question, I will first start by posing a question. And this question comes from the legendary news anchor and also journalist by the name Rashid Abdallah. Wewe kama kijana, mtoto, unaingia katika room. Then mamako amekaa vibaya leso. Na unaona ndani kabisa sehemu ambazo hufai kuona. Na wajomba zako wako nyuma wanakuja kumtembelea mamako. Utaambia mamako umekaa vibaya, akae leso vizuri, ama utanyamaza wajomba wamwambie? Utafanya nini?
It's a tricky one, but
because pia ukimwambia atajua mtoto wangu ameona za ndani.
Lakini unajua sasa
utafanyaje?
Nitamfunikia uchi wake.
Utamwambia mama kaa vizuri?
Nitamwambia mama, kwa sababu afadhali ni dini ile repercussion ya ulikuwa unaangalia wapi ndio uone ni sijakaa vizuri. Kuliko pia kuja watu wa nje wajomba wamuone.
And that's what right now vijana wanafanya wa Kenya. Hawataki watu wa Uganda waje waambie kina viongozi wa Kenya kwamba mmekaa vibaya. So vijana wa Kenya wanafanya hivyo right now. Wanaambia viongozi in a bold way, ndio? But now, do you think, yes, right now we are doing everything, the bill ya finance kwenye second reading inaingia third reading this week on Thursday before we pass, kuna solution itapatikana vijana sauti yako sikizwa, because this is the generation of voice, itasikizwa?
Okay, when I saw the president, what he said yesterday, that you know, and they will see to the youth, and you know the youth are refusing, Kwanza Tony, because they in this kind of, they are calling it also a revolution. In this revolution, when people go and talk on our behalf, they sell us out. So as we don't want the talking, why are we talking? We have already told you from the placards, from the tweets, we've already told you what you want. So I think we don't need to sit down. But also, as I answer you, it is not good when a president looks like he's welcoming a conversation, but some of his officers look like castigating the youth. No. Ati sijui nyinyi mnaenda mnakula KFC, nyinyi hamjui shida. You know, such make you wonder like, no, so is the government supporting or not? No. But I would say,
tutapata solution hii shida utapata?
That's a tricky one. You know, my caucus has both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. So I try and engage, but you know, I feel like there is that
hiyo jina mahali caucus. Unajua Lamu must be proud.
Tony,
nipatia kalamu, camera person, nipatia kalamu niandike mahali. Umesema caucus. Caucus it's a hebu eleze vizuri. Kuna someone who is watching from Kiambu ajui caucus ni nini?
Yeah, na ni muhimu kwa sababu kuna mtu alituta caucus. You know caucus.
Caucus na caucus.
Caucus of course is kama kitu inaoza na nini, but a caucus which is maybe used in parliamentary language to bring together people, you know the way professionals would say association. Yes, sasa parliamentary caucus. Yes, it's mostly in parliament. Inaleta watu wako na agenda moja. It can be for the women, it can be for youth. It can even be at times religious, because I've seen in the parliament they even have for Catholics. But the solution can be gotten. But I don't know. On my part, I feel like there's ikitu lazima ipite. There is that grandstanding from, of course, you would see even in parliament and what have you. But there is never, they can actually stop, and that would be, how do I put it, would be something that happens once in a lifetime. It's especially, I would have expected it to have stopped the other day. Before with we go with the voting. That's where, but there's still room, and amendments can still be made, especially at the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Yes, which is usually now after the second reading before it goes to the third.
I think that's what's happening today or tomorrow.
Today? Yes.
Yeah.
So on Thursday last week walipitisha the second readings, ndio?
Yes.
So wameenda wakafanya compiled report,
Yes.
then wakuja nayo leo.
Yes.
Alafu leo kwenye third reading bado kuna some clauses
Which is the committee stage.
All right, committee stage.
Committee
Yes.
of the whole.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Then third itakuwa ni Friday, Thursday ama?
Yes.
Third reading and voting.
And of course voting and assent,
Yeah.
because you see at the committee of the whole they vote for each amendment. Tumekubali hii amendment ama tumekataa.
Yeah.
Tumekubali ama tumekataa.
Yeah.
Or maybe we adopt the report as it is.
And because you are the CEO of the KYMC, and because someone who is watching right now anauliza sasa tumefika wapi bill hatujui, being on a man, it's a good thing to class, because Sarah said we must have a pen and a paper.
Yes.
Right now tuko kwenye stage ngapi? Hebu tupeleke pole pole. Niko na this bill, nataka wasichana wapigwe tax ya kucha.
Yes.
Kucha ambazo wanaweka fake, I mean za bandia, wataxiwe. Hiyo ni bill nataka ikue law.
Yes.
Nipatie process number 1 mpaka ya mwisho.
Of course, the bill can either come into that parliament as a private member's bill,
Okay.
or the statutory bills, which are like the finance bills, must come always from the executive side.
The committee, okay.
Yes, zenye ziko.
Yeah.
You know, kama sasa yako ingekuwa private member, because ni kitu unique, it's personal to you.
Kama ya that Jahir, exactly. Zahir.
Yes. So there's of course the first reading, which usually just the mention. Then of course what we saw was the second reading, where now it has been debated and opened up for debate.
Okay.
Then of course we go to the committee of the whole, where now these amendments from the report can either we accept this amendment or we reject. We accept this amendment, then
Step
of course,
by step.
Yes, then it's read for the third time. Then after reading for the third time is of course it goes for the assent. And that's why you can hear the youth saying tukikosa pale kwa bunge tutahakikisha rais hajaisign.
Yeah, the presidential
because now that one
assent.
becomes law when it's
Assent.
when it's assented
Nice.
to, which is basically signing as executive.
So from
But you know
the
the
bill
executive
to
can also
law.
reject it, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can always send it back to parliament with of course a memorandum saying that I would want these changes and these changes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why you see the opening room. Na saying wale wabunge wasiposaidia hapo, maybe president tutampiga pressure kabla sign airudishe yeke na memorandum ikisema where we can adjust.
And then this comes a good example. A lady comes to you anakuambia, Tony, I need this phone.
Yes.
Hiyo stage number 1.
Yes.
Unamwambia go and look for the price.
Yes.
Hiyo ni stage number 2.
Yes.
Then anakuletea price.
Yes.
Hapo kwa price unaweza ukanunua simu ama ukatae. Si ndio?
Yeah.
One of it.
Yeah.
Sarah.
And it's very important, and thank you, Mark, for making that clear. So all hope is not lost.
Yeah.
Bado wa Kenya tuko na hopes that this finance bill, the budget this year, hatuja kufa moyo, because we still have like 2 or 3 stages before the president assents it to into law. Sindio?
Kabisa.
Chris, wewe as a young person, because we have been talking of now the young people being more vocal, do you think come 2027, because as you were saying, we have the power of social media right now, we have gone out to the streets, but ni wapi tumekuwa tukifail over the years, because we don't, is it because we don't vote? And what would you tell the young people moving forward from social media, from taking to the streets? How can we make that change when it comes to now actualizing things?
Yes, and Sarah, if you look at the last election, there was a very low, involvement of youth in terms of even the general, what is registered as voters and people who turn out was low.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we get wrong, because I always tell people, bad leaders are elected by people
who
like
do not vote.
would say mimi sitapiga kura and I'll not vote. So
Hiyo ni kazi ya wazee.
yes, na si kazi yangu, but I have a feeling that the Gen Z are very very proactive now, and they're starting to see, and you see they're taking serious what is coming from the civil society. So civil society is doing a good job on civic education. So they're starting to know, and that's why wanasema sisi 2027 wazazi wetu wateka ID kwa nyumba, ni sisi tuenda kuvote. If they can do that, I'm telling you, a lot of the parliamentarians and even other positions have a lot to fear, because they will want fresh people.
Yes.
You see, and the good thing, over the years, even the voting was, huyu ni mtu wa kwetu,
Kabila.
huyu ni region boss wetu, this is our regional kingpin. But how hawajui dini, okay, they understand, but that is not what brings them together. They are beyond being divided by religion, by tribe, and whatever. So that becomes a very powerful tool in them now. Wametoa hiyo yote, and they look at a leader and what he's offering and what he's representing. So I'm hoping and I'm foreseeing a situation where they'll really do a big turnout, because waliambiwa ni nyinyi, because everybody's telling them si ni nyinyi amu kuvote for the right leader. So like, ni hapo tulikosea, tupatane in 2027.
Tuta correct. Chris, I will give you a chance to talk to the young people, being that you have been there, you know how the politics in this country goes. That camera is yours. Talk to the young people. How can we make a change come 2027?
Yeah, of course, what they are already doing is good, so I'd like to commend them. And you know, they say the youth exists in a place, space, and time, and they've noticed, you know, the time is not on our side. That space, we must now expand it even further, as much as we are being given a small space. And you know, we are not on the table; we are going to break it. We don't want to be on the menu. We want to be the people deciding what the menu is. That is very important.
Yeah.
So that reading of these documents, it's important. They can continue that way, and I commend them because the youth were really deciphering it. Yeah. And of course, through civil society also, there was aspects of making it simple, because some of these documents are really thick, Sarah.
Yeah.
So I would say it is important to participate in the parties, to make sure the political party, because it's a political party which forms government. So of course the political parties have lost, they look like they're not interesting.
Yeah.
So I'd like to encourage that those political parties ought to zichukue, because those are the people, or rather those are places where they nominate leaders. If we can go for the leadership positions in parties, na si tuweko kwa youth league, I always believe ni kama sasa uambia watoto nyinyi keeni pale, mcheze kwa bouncing castle, and we want to be in the mainstream. We want to see the youth taking positions of the SG and what have you. Please, the public participations, let's continue asking the questions, even at the counties. Even the counties are very important, because the MCAs are closest to you, so decisions that are made in the county affect you directly, even as much as the national ones are. So I would like to say that is my say to the youth, and yeah, and to continue like that, to keep these leaders on toes, because continue asking the difficult questions that a lot of people cannot ask. That's the only way we'll get to be getting leaders accountable, and also to do the right thing.
Atibarua kutoka kwa Jaramogi Oginga na Kenyatta, wanauliza kama Kenya tuko sawa, alafu tujiangalie,
tuko pabaya.
Tuko pabaya leo kuliko jana, usipoziba utajenga ukuta. Yeah, si ndio? Now, before tumalize interview, tupitie some feedback before tumalize. I have this question. Jana kuna group ya vijana 4 ambao wamejitokeza, wanasema kwamba wao ndio wawakilishi wa vijana kwenye the whole thing ya kupush the reject finance bill agenda. Do you think with the whole agenda kwamba we have our own things tunataka zifanyike, we won't reject? Wamesema kwamba right now we don't have any leader kwenye hii Gen Z youth movement. Do you think kilio chetu kitasikizwa kama hatuna kiongozi? Because right now anyone akijitokeza mimi ni kiongozi wa Gen Z, anaambiwa no, hatuna kiongozi. Matakwa yetu yatasikilizwa?
Yes, because
with no leader.
Yes, and you know why? Because they are platforms. You know, let me tell you, you know, even in these interactive forums, there's one I was going through Twitter, I mean through X, the ideas that were being given there. They are very brilliant ideas. So there's already an avenue for that. Because you see now the problem is, and it's good what is happening, everybody is claiming it. It means it's organic. Anything that's organic, everybody will tend to claim it. That's why kuna leader ambaye anaweza sema it is me, na ikubaliki ama you know. So it means ni watu walikuwa na hiyo feeling, it's something that has really been built. Because the other, it's good also to, of course, they need to have a structure and whatever with time. Because also you need that communication, direct communication. But of course, kusikiza watasikiza. For them even to start saying that we need to put the youth on the table, how did they know they need to now talk with the youth? Why are they now toning down their rhetoric, especially the ones who are really grandstanding? It's because there's already feedback.
We have seen
so you don't need one person to give you that feedback.
Yes,
yes, because the other fear on that is people can always be compromised. When 2 or 3 people go and represent you, you know. And I think that is the biggest fear with the youth. So I think there's channels, you know, there's a Twitter, there's a feedback. In fact, let me tell you, the feedback is there. Yes, you just need to go and get what is right and see whether it really makes sense.
Kabisa.
Yes.
And I think that has been the conversation, Tony, even with the young people. If you look what they are saying, it's we don't want to have specific faces that are taking lead of all this that is happening, because we have seen this is Kenya. You cannot buy all the youths in the country, because if we say ni Tony mwenye ndio leader wetu, Tony ataitwa apewe zake za kando.
Usinipewe zangu. Nayo si uongo. Mimi nikipewa zangu 2 hivi ni jawa toka nyote huku na bagi tu.
You're not a good man.
Kusema tu.
You're not a good man.
Sisi ukweli.
Tutakucancel.
Sasa ingo babaya.
Unajua kuna maana nasema kula lakini usiingie hiyo box.
Kula nyama nyamaza.
Tumekubali.
Mark, we really appreciate your time for coming through this amazing Monday on 24th of June. Mungu akubariki sana. Anytime uko free hapa ni nyumbani, tupige story na vijana. Kila siku ni interactive, si ndio?
Yes, I've loved the show.
And also before he goes, maybe you can tell us your plans. how can the young people also, if they want to interact with the Kenya young MCAs in Kenya, how can they do that?
Yes, they can do that through our regional youth bunges.
Okay.
There are things, there's a program we are calling the regional youth bunge. So we did one for the Coast region, we did one for Nyanza in Mount Kenya.
Okay.
And this regional youth bunge is actually getting youth with MCAs in a chamber, an assembly chamber. So that for once, the MCAs can sit at the public gallery.
Yeah.
And the youth can take the seats in the assembly and they can now get the solutions. It's supposed to just make sure that, you know, the MCAs don't lose touch with their electorate, who are the youth, and also the youth can take serious, or rather can see the importance of engaging and questioning leaders and getting results like they're doing there with the finance bill. So that is the best platform we use. So we are having the South Rift coming up, South Rift, which will be around 8-10 counties in that region. We have the North Rift coming in, and so we always have them on our pages so that they can come. It's a welcome space where they can come and attend and be part, ask our MCAs. Ule MCA unasema mpatangi usiku ako hapo. The CEO pia ako hapo. And the leadership, our chairman and the rest are all there. You can ask them the serious questions. Okay.
That's a very great initiative. For your social media pages, if you can mention them so that we follow. Yes,
there's Young MCAs _Kenya, that is on the Twitter space. There's KYMCA, as KYMCA, Kenya Young Members of County Assembly on IG. And the Facebook one is the same, Kenya Young Members of County Assemblies Association.
Oh yeah, okay. That's amazing. Asante kwa kuja maze, tunashukuru sana.
Mimi nimelearn a lot and I hope Tony and also our viewers wamelearn, si ndio?
Yeah, hii conversation imekuwa top kabisa. Yeah, tunashukuru sana.
Mark, thank you so much for making time for us, and also to our viewers for tuning in to Interactive this beautiful Monday morning. We wish you a great week ahead. God bless you all. See you tomorrow bright and early for another amazing episode of Interactive. We are saying what, Tony?
Adios.
From Germany to your K24 TV screens. Get ready for the ultimate showdown of European football as 24 countries fight for one trophy. This time, the battle for glory reaches its peak.